SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Rebel Rags, celebrating 20 years of bringing the best Ole Miss gear to fans everywhere. Visit the store on Jackson Avenue in Oxford or order online at rebelrags.net. That's rebelrags.net. Tell them, Molly.
Rebel Rags. Anything, everything, Ole Miss.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Discover Covington County Hospital's Swing Bed Program, offering comprehensive care for patients transitioning from acute hospital care to home. With a focus on rehabilitation, we ensure a smooth journey back to your home environment. Choose Covington County Hospital, where your health care matters.
Sports.
Get ready, sports fans. It's time for Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming worldwide on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and on your Amazon Alexa devices. Chasing Foul Balls, your weekly source for all the sports news and interviews important to Southwest Mississippi. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Macomb and by First Bank. And now, here's your host, Robbie Hamilton.
Well, good morning and welcome to CFP Friday morning here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Glad to be with you again. With me, so here's Richard Hay, TP. Glad to have you back with us.
Always a pleasure, Robbie.
And, of course, we got a little daddy filling in today. Wes Dudry, how are you?
Finer than frog hair, Robbie, as the old folks say.
Oh, you sound like Mr. Randall sitting over there this morning. He's out on a little business he had to take care of, and we'll take care of business this morning. A lot to do. Got Matt Wyatt for the Matt Wyatt radio show, and also the color commentator for the Mississippi State Football Network with us. And Evie Van Pelt has RebWalk.com, covers the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll find out how the Rebels are doing and what's going on there. But we got a lot to talk about this morning, so let's go to work. First off, Saints camp gets underway, and they signed Tyler Shuck to a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract. What do you think, little daddy?
I think you had to if you were the Saints, considering the guys ahead of him in the second round got guaranteed contracts. Kind of unprecedented territory there, but him being the only quarterback in the second round, I think you had to give him a fully guaranteed deal.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback on opening day?
Opening day, my money is on Rattler. Now, for how long, we'll see. But I would expect at least the first 3 games to look for Rattler.
You on Rattler?
Robbie, I guess I agree with Wes. He has a little more experience, but not much. But he has already played in the NFL, so I would say that would probably be the choice right now if you were laying money. I believe, though, by the end of the season or the middle of the end of the season, because what I saw from Rattler last year didn't impress me none, and he was a rookie. Now Shuck is a rookie this year, so I don't know, but yeah, I'd say Rattler.
Surprise timing from the Honey Badgers retirement, Wes. You heard anything about that?
I have not, Robbie, and the fact that he retired is not so surprising. His deal, I think everybody knew this was probably going to be the last year. It wasn't spoken, but I think it was kind of understood. The timing to announce it when everybody reports for camp is strange. I haven't figured out which side gains anything from the timing. But they moved quick to replace him. I know that.
Didn't waste any time, did they? The other thing, Jimmy Graham announced his retirement. Not a big deal, not playing now. But Jimmy Graham, one of the all-time great tight ends for the New Orleans Saints.
Absolutely, and got to go out as a Saint. His production had noticeably dipped the last few years, but great career, and wish him all the best.
Found this note about the Saints with some Taysom Hill, 57 yards away from the only player to have 1,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing, and 1,000 yards receiving. Now that's 3 pretty good numbers to have in the NFL.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
It is. Think you'll see another one, Richard? Or is Taysom Hill kind of on his own?
Robbie, the way the NFL's going with these hybrid players, if you will, I'm not going to say it won't happen because things happen in the NFL every year. We say, well, we had never seen that before. So I'd say it won't, but it's not going to happen next year because he's just a different breed.
He's a freak.
To think that he's that good at every position. And the thing I like about it, when he's on the field, depending on where they line him up at, you don't have any idea what he's getting ready to do. And also, I imagine he'd be pretty good on punt return yards if they added that in there.
Well, he's already on the kickoff.
I was going to say, when the drive stalls, he's wedge buster. So, I mean, what the heck?
Let's talk about a local event that happened yesterday that kind of surprised folks. Adam Shambly, the head baseball coach at Colin, resigned and accepted the job at Holmes Community College as their next baseball coach. As you talked about, Wes, with Honey Badger, an odd timing right here before school starts. That you have a community college baseball coach leaving one school but going to another community college in Mississippi, Adam Shambly, from the Holmes area. So I don't think it's a real surprise that he would go back. I'd understand he was second in line for the Itawamba job, and he didn't get that one, but he did get the Holmes job yesterday. Richard, kind of late in the year to be changing jobs, isn't it?
I would say it's so, Robbie, and especially a head position, a head coach. I mean, what did that say? What do you say the young, and I guess the young recruits got to understand this is the business you're in now. I mean, you can say what you want to, but it's a business. And what did we say last week about recruiting? Home hardly ever loses.
That's it.
And not knowing what the deal is, but I mean, Colin, we know what proud baseball program they've had over many, many years.
And the last 3 years, Shambly's had a winning season, 2 out of 3. Went to the playoffs the last 2 years. So, again, talking around yesterday, not many people expected it. They were a little wary after he had applied for the Itawamba job and basically came in second up there. But Adam Shambly moving on to Holmes Community College. Well, we'll go back to picking winners. So let's just go ahead and start now. Well, what's the day? The 28th?
Close enough.
25th. Football starts August the 30th, the first games. Here's 5. Texas and Ohio State opens it up. Who you got, Wes?
I'm going to say the arch attack is on. I'm going Texas.
I think Texas too. I think Ohio State's starting a new quarterback also. But what Texas has got, and Ohio State, how many first-round draft choices did they have off that team last time?
Several.
A lot, so I'd say Texas.
Alabama, Florida State, Richard.
Whew, Robbie.
Be tough this morning,
Yeah, because we know that Florida State probably was maybe an aberration from last year with what they but Alabama's got to be better. I'm going to say Alabama.
Yeah, Florida State will be better. I mean, just for the fact that they're Florida State, they can bring in whatever talent they want to bring in, but it's hard to pick against Alabama ever.
LSU, Clemson.
LSU.
That was quick.
When you play them this close, or I think they're this close, and I don't know if I think I've heard a few early lines. It's very low. The home team has got the definite advantage. I don't know what Clemson's quarterback situation is, but Garrett Nussmeier, if he's probably the best starting quarterback right now in the Southeastern Conference, maybe in the country. That's got to count for something. But I'm gonna go with the home team, Clemson. Those Tigers, not the.
I was going to say the Tigers.
You could have just said the Tigers.
I was going to say the Tigers would win. That's the only way I could get it right.
On a social media post that somebody from over there on their side made some comment about we're going to show them where the real Death Valley is. I said, oh, boy, be careful what you ask for, please.
Here we go. Utah and UCLA.
Who knows and who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, but I just wanted to.
If I had to pick one, Utah, if you put a gun to my head, I don't know.
Do you know where they're playing the game at?
I think it's at UCLA.
I think I'm still like Wes. I know a lot. I know a lot more things about Utah and how they play. UCLA's, I'd say Utah.
Final one, you guessed it, Mississippi State and Southern Miss in the Harvard of the South's home backyard, Hattiesburg.
I'm going to say the winner is probably going to be for somebody getting hit in the head with the cowbell before the night's over. But
well, that's 100% chance there. I don't think that's a question there. The question is how many get hit.
Robbie, I honestly don't know. Both teams are so new, and I mean, I follow USM closer than probably most anybody, and I can't tell you what we're going to be. I certainly can't speak for State. I'm going to pick USM because that's where my loyalties lie, but I have no clue.
Richard?
Well,
I think you probably have the other side.
Well, but Robbie, I'll lead off with this. There's one proven quarterback in this matchup. Blake Shapen, you can say what you want to, but he can't stay on the field health-wise. Now, there's a lot of other problems that help that along. But the quarterback that is now at USM was the player of the year last year. And he brings a lot of people with him that are very comfortable in what they do. They're playing at home. It's a rivalry and all that kind of stuff. I think the overall talent of Mississippi State probably wins out in a four-quarter game. But a real good quarterback makes a difference. I think it's going to be close. I'll pick State just as my good friend Wes says. My loyalties are there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Southern wins, but I think it'll be close.
State by 12.5 is the line. The over-under with 57.5 points. They expect it to be a high-scoring game.
Well, they're certainly proud of USM's offense from all the reports out of the summer. So I can't speak for State, but I do believe we'll put up some points.
I'd like to have the football last.
Agreed.
I'd hate to think that USM with their quarterback and has the football to drive down and either get a field goal or a touchdown to win, because I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on maybe unproven defenses right now, especially first game of the season.
Well, we'll find out what the Mississippi State guy says. And Matt Wyatt, he's coming up next with us right here on Chasing Foul Balls. Well, welcome back. CFB Friday morning edition here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Glad to have to join us, Mr. Matt Wyatt, the host of the Matt Wyatt Radio Show and also the color commentator for the Mississippi State Football Network, among many other things that he does. Matt, good to talk to you again, good buddy.
Robbie, man, it is good to hear your voice. It really is. I'm glad you're on the air and kicking and doing well, and you got the whole group with you?
Well, I got Mr. Richard Hay with me and Mr. Wes Dudry with me this morning. KB?
Hey, Richard, I just got off the phone with Neil Price, and he said to tell you hello.
Well, look.
Boy, all these big time.
I saw Neil when he brought the baseball dogs through, and we reminisced about me lining up a couple of his Jerry Clower visits, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's a big Clower fan, and I am too, but I'm a big fan of y'all's. I'm glad Chasing Foul Balls is going strong.
Let me ask you, who won the putt-putt contest between you and your daughter?
Okay, she won the whole thing, all right, but we each had the 2 holes in one. This was down at Dauphin Island, Alabama, you know?
Yep.
And it was the day before her birthday. And I'm pretty confident that it's a record. 18 holes of putt-putt golf, 4 holes in one per family, 2 each for her and me. I mean, it's got to be a record, right?
Well, the record would be if you didn't lose any balls.
We didn't, but the nice lady at the front, to commemorate Mary Liddy's 2 holes in one on her birthday, she did let me buy the little golf ball so Mary Liddy could take it home. She sold me the golf ball and a Diet Coke for $3.75. I thought that was a pretty good deal.
I tell you what, you down there negotiating, don't you? All right.
Maybe.
You know, with your radio show, you have your pulse on the Mississippi State fans. What's the feel of the State fans heading into this football season?
Yeah, I think it's unknown. I think that's the pulse. It's just a giant unknown. Like, half your football team wasn't here last year. Certain positions is like all new. And just about everybody I bump into, Robbie, they say, "Hey, Matt, are you optimistic?" And I say, "Well, yeah, of course I am. I always am. I was optimistic last year." And then they don't want to hear that. But I would just say that it is a giant unknown, as it is with so many other teams. Southern Miss is a great example. They got a whole new football team. So we really need to see them play first. We can project it all we want to. And with State, your defensive line is, it was the worst I'd ever seen State in terms of their production last year. And it's a whole new group. I mean, there's a couple of holdovers, but transfers from all over the place. Texas, Alabama/Miami, Auburn, Coastal Carolina. I mean, it's just guys across the front that are new, and they were much more disruptive in the spring. So I think they're just automatically a little better there. How much, we got to see them play. So things like that. I think it's an unknown, and until they take some snaps together as a football team against Southern Miss on the 30th, we're not really going to know what we have.
How much studying are you having to do to get these two rosters ready to do the first football game?
Well, I mean, it's a total. It's like going back to school and practicing your memorization. Thank goodness I can just hold my phone from C-Spire in my hand and look at it, flip through the rosters at any time. Because, listen, yesterday I was on campus. Greg Knox and Gary Green, they had an event called the Dog Program, where they introduce football players to former players and athletes who are out in different types of businesses, and you get a chance to connect, and if they're interested in what you do for a living, you can talk to them. So I got to meet and talk to some of those guys in person. And, it's almost like every hand you shake, it's like, "Hey, I'm Matt. Tell me your name." And then, "Okay, where'd you come from?" And they tell me which school they transferred from. So it's all brand new.
Matt, this is Richard Hay. As we were talking before we got you on about the game, and we were talking from the standpoint of our quarterback might be somewhat proven in Blake Shapen, but he hadn't been able to stay healthy. One of the reasons was last year, and you mentioned it, our line play, our offensive line play. I hope with Coach Lodeholt, you're going to tell me that what you've seen so far, that we're going to be a lot better up front, especially with the running backs we've got on the team right now.
Yeah, I do expect that. I think your personnel is a little better, and and I think they made a change there from a coaching standpoint for a reason, because something had to be different and better and more consistent. And so I think they're going to get that. How much, I don't know. Part of it too is what you mentioned, that probably. Well, I don't think it's a probably. I think it is just obvious. Your best room or your best position on offense is that running back group. So you're going to highlight them, and you're going to build it around that. I think that's good for Blake, but I think it's good for that offensive line too. It just helps with everything. Yeah, and it's got to be better. The line of scrimmage deal, it's a line of scrimmage league. Okay, that's a cliche that everybody says, and you've heard it over the years, but you just have to look at it and let it sink in that it does not matter who you put back there at quarterback, at running back, that speedy receiver, out there on the edge. None of that matters if you're not good on the line of scrimmage. It starts there. Games are won and lost there. And, all the skill people stuff is just a derivative of what your linemen are doing. And so the way we look at it as fans and stuff, everybody pays attention to the football and the quarterback and the head coach, but games being won and lost on the line of scrimmage. So if you're better there, I know defensively they'll be better on the line of scrimmage because, frankly, you can't be worse. So that'll be better. And then offensively, I really do think they're going to be a little better this year. And so we'll see how that equates against a really tough schedule.
Matt, this is Wes Nunnery here. I'm the resident Southern Miss guy in the room, and when you were going through your expectations and outlook for this season, if I didn't know where your loyalties lie, I could have sworn you were talking about us. So hopefully we'll all learn something on the 30th. But talk about your thoughts of what State has brought in the transfer portal. Do you think there's an area or position group that they really knocked it out of the park, or conversely, is there an area you worry about they didn't address quite good enough?
If I would say worry, it's maybe even not the right word, because numbers-wise they're okay. But the corner position, I just coming out of last year, I just wondered, are you going to see going all in on one or two players at that position that are going to really transform it? That didn't really happen. Excuse me. But the one that I mentioned earlier, Wes, is to me, it was the sore spot on the football team last year. It was the need from a transfer portal and recruiting standpoint this year. And they totally transformed it. Like you can just tell, they went all in on, load the truck with as much cash as you can put in there, go find you some defensive linemen. And so it's an entirely new group. It is an edge rusher from NC State named Hibbler, who he was disruptive in the spring. And you could just tell why he put up the numbers he did at NC State. He's just a really good football player. A huge with his hand down in the middle that came from Miami. I think he was an Alabama guy initially, but he went to Miami, had to sit out. Now he's here. He was a disruptor in the spring. The kid from Auburn was a disruptor in the spring. And there's two big guys from other schools. And the kid from Texas was and they're the kind of bodies and athletes in your front that you just didn't even have on the roster last year. So if they are healthy and in a uniform on the 30th, that unit is just automatically better. And so, and when I keep using that word disruptor, because I'll frame it this way. I've been calling the games on the radio now for, 16, 17 years. I was on the team in the late 90s when we had Jolie Dunn, and like all of our defensive linemen are getting drafted. And so I've seen just decade after decade at State where you have these individual players on your front where, like, in a scrimmage, you have to take them out of the scrimmage in order for your offense to get some work. You had to take Chris Jones and Jeffrey Simmons and Montez Sweat out of the scrimmage, put them on the side. Offensive coaches be like, hey, coach, can you get him out for 3-4 plays? We got to work on some stuff. Because if he's in, he's disrupting everything you're trying to do because you can't block him. He's that good of a player. State didn't have any disruptors on the defensive front last year. They're just guys who are firing off and eating up blocks. They've got a few disruptors, and so you got to keep them healthy in camp. And if you do that, that was the need. They addressed it, and they had no choice. It was so bad a year ago up there. They had no choice but to go all in on defensive line.
They say State by 12.5. Is that too high, too low, or is that about right?
Well, are you a gambler, Robbie? Well, because I'm not. I would be sooner to listen to you on that than I would be take my advice on it.
Well, you don't want to hear from me because I don't have no slightest idea. Let me explain to you. I'm the rural sports genius. You know what that means? I don't find out till 3 or 4 days later what happened. So
okay.
Asking me is not. They said the number I like, 57.5 points in the over and under. So they're expecting a very high scoring game. What do you see?
Well, I could go with that. I know Southern Miss has an excellent quarterback, and really looking forward to watching him play. I have some friends who are coaches and some who are officials that have seen some Southern Miss practices, since Coach Huff got there in the spring, and they talked about how physical they were in the spring and how hard they ran the ball. And you can watch what he did at Marshall. You can tell he knows it. And heck, they've got half the Marshall football team in Hattiesburg this year, so they're going to be pretty good. And State, game one, you hope to have shape and healthy. I'm just telling y'all, you're right. Robbie, you touched on it. Chapin hasn't been able to stay healthy, but he can really throw the football. There's a reason that Jeff Levy likes him. He can really throw it. So I'd go with it. I hope so. A little back and forth, game one, excitement. I'd sure prefer that over 10-7, I promise you.
The final question is a trivia question. And, Matt, I know you're such a trivia player, you can handle this one. Only 2 players from Texas to win the Heisman Trophy.
All right, Texas Heisman Trophy. I got it.
All right.
Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams.
I tell you what, you are full speed ahead, and this is only July. Sometimes you just amaze me, Mr. Williams.
Robbie must have given you that ahead of time because we had no clue.
He didn't, but here the deal is, I just watched a highlight tape of Earl Campbell about 3 days ago, and in the question in my head, I wonder if he was harder to tackle than Ricky Williams, because I was on the 98 team, and we played Ricky Williams in a Cotton Bowl at the end of that year. We had just lost to Tennessee in the SEC championship game, so we were kind of down, and it was a little bit hard to get ready for that Texas game. And, man, we didn't have anybody who really could tackle him one-on-one. His Ricky Williams' center of gravity was about 2 feet off the ground, you know. And for me, the only highlight in that game, standing over there watching Ricky Williams run us over, was they put me in. I played late, and I threw a touchdown pass to Lahidi Grant from Dora, Alabama. And I saw Lahidi yesterday at that event on campus. I posted a picture of me and him on Facebook, and it just struck me. Man, I look so much older than Lahidi. He didn't have any gray hair, no gray beard. He looks the same. He said he walks 20,000 steps a day, and then I'm standing there, and I look like I'm 65 years old. So ever since that Cotton Bowl, we took different paths, apparently.
Does he have a teenage daughter?
Well, I don't know. Why?
Well, that's the reason. That's the difference.
You're probably right. He did tell me that the key to that not having gray hair for him was not worrying about things that he can't control. And I thought, yeah, well, maybe he doesn't have a daughter. 'Cause I don't know what that is.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got to get ready for your radio show. We appreciate you being with us this morning.
Boys, appreciate y'all. It's good to hear your voices. Keep it up long as you can.
Thank you, Matt. Matt Wyatt.
Yep.
From the Matt Wyatt radio show, and that's the Mississippi State color analyst for the radio network. We'll come back. We'll go from State. We'll go to Ole Miss. Evie Van Pelt talking Rebels right after this.
Sports. And now sports.
You're listening to Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming everywhere on the SuperTalk Mississippi app. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Macomb and by First Bank and brought to you by East Macomb Body Shop and Guy's Pharmacy. Now back to Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5.
So welcome back to CFB Friday morning. Enjoy talking with Matt Wyatt to get this show started. And now let's go a little bit Ole Miss side with Evie Van Pelt of the RebWalk, the web page. Of course, she has a podcast. Evie does a little bit of everything. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back on. It's been a minute.
It's been a long time. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. And I think I have a mutual friend of Mr. Robbie, and I was told this morning by Ben Craddock to tell Robbie hello and hope he's doing well.
I tell you what, Ben's a good guy. Of course, he's from our town, and we're real proud of Ben. Tell me about Austin Simmons, quarterback for Ole Miss.
Woo! Well, what I can tell you, I was in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, and I can tell you he is one calm, cool, and collected guy. I can tell you that much. So I'm really looking forward to watching him play this season. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Peter Burns, just the other day, SEC, ESPN analyst, mentioned him as kind of who he thinks could be a breakout star at QB this season.
Ole Miss picked to finish 7th in the SEC. Is that a fair assessment?
I actually think it probably is. Just given the sheer amount of talent that Ole Miss lost from last season. So I think you'd be hard-pressed to have a defensive line as good as last season's defensive line with Walter Nolan and Princely Emonmielen and Jared Ivey and J.J. Pegues. That being said, I think that Ole Miss is going to surprise some folks this season.
Evie, this is Richard Hay, and you just kind of led into my question is the fact that, yes, the quarterback is the star that we're talking about, but tell me about who replaced those NFL draft choices that y'all had playing last year that was the best run defense in the league. That's going to be, as we know, it's won and lost right there.
Well, I tell you what. It was interesting to me. Defensive coordinator Pete Golding did one of those fireside chats with men's basketball coach Chris Beard. He did that a month or so ago, and he said he doesn't think that we're going to see a drop off from 2024. So I think that is really interesting. He said, quote, "I don't think we're going to fall down from where we were in 2024. Now, they did on that defensive line lose 3 inside guys to the draft, but according to Pete, not one single one of them is being replaced with a portal addition. So they have got some talented guys that have been in the program, Xavier Harris, Jamarius Brown, Cam Franklin, and then they did add some elite edge guys. Prince Will Emonmielen, the little brother of Princely Emonmielen, and then Deshaun Womack, a transfer from LSU.
Evie, this is Wes Nunnery here. Looking around on your RebWalk website, I noticed that you hail from Texas originally and hold a degree from A&M. So I guess I got to ask the obvious question: how does an Aggie start covering Ole Miss sports?
Well, this Aggie loves Ole Miss. I'll tell you how that happened. Over 2 decades ago, my little daughter Katie got a volleyball scholarship to Ole Miss. And so off she went to Oxford. We fell in love with it and have been bleeding red and blue ever since then. And she went on to get not just a biology degree from Ole Miss, but she ended up getting her doctorate in pharmacy from Ole Miss's School of Pharmacy. So I feel like we're pretty dyed in the wool red and blue over here.
Even President Trump signed a deal yesterday that prohibits play-for-pay payments to college athletes from third-party folks. Does that mean we go back to paying people under the table?
You know, I think anybody who says they know what's happening as a result of either, the House settlement or President Trump's executive order is probably being disingenuous, because I don't think any of us really knows. So, it did say that, we're not doing the pay for play, but then it did say they could be paid for legitimate appearances, legitimate business reasons. So, I think there's a lot of wiggle room in there.
Let's underline legitimate. Can we do that? Let me give you a chance to brag on the Ole Miss softball team. First time ever to go to the College World Series.
Oh, I tell you what, Jamie Traxel did a great job this year. Just what a tremendous run that they made. They made, you're right, the first ever appearance. They were eliminated in an extra inning game against Oregon, 6-5, but even though they lost, Ole Miss finished the season as a consensus top 10 program with final rankings, I think, of number 7 in Softball America's poll and 8 in some of the others. So that is just a tremendous finish, and what a great year for Ole Miss sports. Great job by Keith Carter.
Evie, that's where I was going to, kind of give you a chance. What a great year for the Rebels. I mean, football, Sweet 16 in basketball, the ladies' women team, the golf team, the men's golf team. I mean, really, can you think of a past year where they've had that much success as an overall program?
I really can't, and I, have thought about it, and, we've had some years where, back when basketball reached the Sweet 16 in men, but, we weren't having the same luck with maybe women's basketball or softball, and kudos to Coach Yo. She did a great job this season, too. I actually went out to Spokane to cover her team against UCLA. They kind of ran into a buzzsaw with that 6'7" Lauren Betts that UCLA had on their team, but man, they put up a valiant fight. So you're right, across the board, Ole Miss athletics looks to be in a golden season.
Ole Miss baseball coming over into your area February 27th. They'll play in the 2026 Astros Foundation College Classic. It'll be Texas, Baylor, Ohio State, Texas, San Antonio, and Coastal Carolina. That ought to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about that one. I think that starts February 27th. Ole Miss plays Baylor, Ohio State, and Coastal Carolina. So those will be 3 strong teams, especially, that Coastal Carolina. I'm looking forward to watching that one. They had a really strong postseason run when they lost to LSU in the championship. So really going to be a good one, strong field, and I think that Coach Bianco is doing what he can to try and have a strong preseason kind of schedule.
Chris Beard has moved the Ole Miss Rebel basketball program forward every year. We start year 3. What do you see for the Rebels in basketball?
I tell you what, he has brought in some really strong transfer players. I think that really and truly, they only bring back 2 starters from this last season, Malik Dia and Eduardo Klafke. And Dia was a regular starter. Klafke wasn't as much, although I tell you what, Beard is really high on Klafke. But so I don't know. I think they've got a lot of really talented portal players, and honestly, I think Chris Beard is proving as adept at the transfer portal as Lane Kiffin is. Maybe we've got a men's basketball portal king.
There you go. Of course, I'm going to ask you this as an Ole Miss fan. The cowbell tradition at Mississippi State, they're voting on it to be the best tradition in college football by the USA Today poll. What do you think?
Oh my goodness! Well, I don't want to offend.
Honestly,
I don't want to offend anyone, but I still,
no fun.
frankly, don't understand how. Well, I don't understand how they have an exemption for artificial noisemakers. So I think since those are technically forbidden for others, I'm not sure that can be the best tradition.
Oh, boy, you're doing some tiptoeing today, Evie, that's for sure.
I am. I want y'all to have me back, so I don't want to offend anybody.
You must have your ballet shoes on or something this morning, the way you're going around. Thanks for taking the time to be with us on this Friday morning, and we'll be back in touch with you for sure to talk a little bit more about Ole Miss football.
Thank you so much, and hope y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Evie. Appreciate you being with us. Evie Van Pelt with the RebWalk. You can everywhere. RebWalk has a podcast, has a website, has a Facebook page. Just check on her. She keeps you up to date what's going on with Ole Miss. We'll come back. It's Overtime with Big Daddy right after this. For a bank that feels like home, First Bank is here for you. 14 locations across southern Mississippi. We're your local bank for checking, savings, loans, and more. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or you just need everyday banking made easy, First Bank is ready to help. Stop by your nearest branch or visit firstbankmississippi.com today. First Bank, where customers and community matters most. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, and my Rainbow Dodge Jeep Ram, 101 Rainbow Way in Macomb. Big Daddy, how are you?
Doing fine, Robbie. How about y'all?
Well, we just say we've made some people happy and some people mad this morning. So we've had a normal Friday morning here on the radio show, that's for sure. One thing we talk about the baseball being big in Mississippi. Did you see where Connor Griffin is now the number one major league as far as being on the list of the number one player? That's pretty good. We got a Mississippi guy, a shortstop, being the number one player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's undisputed how good Mississippi high school baseball is and the players that come out of here. So no real surprise, but just happy for the exposure.
Colin Cowherd says that Nick Saban and Arch Manning going together to Cleveland. Could you take that?
I don't know that I really believe Nick Saban's going anywhere. Arch may very well go there, but I doubt. I just feel a little doubtful that Nick's going anywhere.
Let's talk about a little bit as far as the Mississippi State Southern Miss game. We've discussed it quite a bit this morning. State by 12.5 is the line. Are you good with that one?
Robbie, who in the world knows? I just read the other day where somebody said two of the worst teams in America are going to kick off the season. We're both having expectations of being great, so...
yeah, we said that too.
57.9 points is the over-under. Expecting a high-scoring game between these two. What about you?
Well, I think both teams have problems on defense, from what I can understand, especially defensive line. I guess that would open up the offense a good bit. I just don't know whether both offenses can keep up with that pace of scoring in the first game in 11 o'clock in August.
What do you expect in Hattiesburg for that game? What kind of turnout and what kind of excitement?
Oh, I think it'll be huge, and I know all the tickets, the prime tickets, have been sold, and I just opened it up to general sales there a couple of weeks ago, and I think they're going pretty fast. So I would be surprised if the first game and the second game against Jackson State both don't have big crowds.
Are you saying they just opened it up to Mississippi State fans?
No.
Yeah, a few of them, like Richard maybe.
The preferred list.
No, I appreciate that, guys. Big Daddy, let's talk a little bit about the USM Golden Eagles team. Let's take the quarterback out of the situation. Give me what you think is your best unit, offense or defense, and maybe the unit that you think might still be a work in progress.
Well, the work in progress is probably pretty easy. It's defensive line followed very closely by offensive line. I think the strongest may be cornerback, safety, and, we're pretty deep at running back, but unproven, I think, right now.
fifth in the West Division. It's a pick for the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Is that fair?
Well, Coach Huff said everybody was crazy if they didn't pick us last, based on last year. But I think we're a team that'll approach a bowl game, if not a little better myself. So I think we'll be a little higher than that. But right now, nothing's proven. So,
Big Daddy, Robbie had to pump Richard's ego here a minute ago and mentioned that the cowbell was the number one ranked tradition in all of college football, and if the crowd could have seen, Richard immediately went into a fist bump over here. It was. What are your thoughts on that?
He said that I intentionally set up Richard.
Well, if I thought he was going to ask that question, I'd have brought my cowbell.
What do I think about cowbells? I've seen them used for everything under the sun, but mainly for
remember, it's a family
head
show.
knockings. Yeah, I remember years ago when people would have them on a piece of pipe that would be about 18 inches long and swinging them like they were chopping wood or something.
Big Daddy, talk to me about your best. Some of the other we talk about football right now because it's the first thing on the thing, but your baseball team just had a really good tier. Had several draft picks, and y'all will know them better than I do about where they went. I guess I was surprised that Middleton. Maybe he got to the second round. I thought he maybe was maybe a low first rounder, but after you watch him, Monastery. But the story I heard on the Eagle Talk one day was about the center fielder and how teams coveted him just because of his athletic ability.
Oh yeah, he's truly a 5'2" guy. Maybe 6. If you got 6'2s, he'll be the 6'2" guy. Not much he can't do. I think he ran the best time in one of those MLB camps or something like that. He covers the ground, he was hitting close to 400 for half of the season, and wound up 350 or so. He got a heck of an arm. He came to Southern as a pitcher, and he can really swing it. So he can do it all. I was hoping he'd slide under the radar a little bit so we could have him another year, but I think he can swing. And Wes will tell you more than I can, but I think a 2.5, somewhere on there, $1 million contract already.
It's up there. To quote Coach O from a few years ago, he's not going to have to worry about where he's going to get his next cheeseburger from. So
unless he has a wife. Coach O has to worry about having a wife. All right, well, we always looking to make sure our guys know what to do on the weekend. Now, we've talked about Nick and Mike racing in New Orleans. We've talked about the slap last weekend in New Orleans. I have got the thing for y'all to do this weekend: Extreme Dwarf Naders Wrestling. Extreme, not regular. Extreme Dwarf Naders Wrestling. It's going to be in Jackson at the Convention Complex on Saturday. It's going to be in Pascagoula on Sunday. And it's going to be at Jay's Tavern in Hattiesburg on Tuesday. They'll jump out that ring, all of them, at 7 o'clock to start. So, guys, y'all write down one of those places and report back next week.
Now, say again what this is, Robbie.
Extreme Dwarf Naders Wrestling.
So now, there's an extreme to that?
Extreme.
Does extreme mean no rules, no holds barred, anything goes?
Anything goes.
Eye gouge is biting, all good?
We'll come back. We'll talk about it all and wrap this thing up right after this break. Friday morning edition on SuperTalk Pike County. Rich, I'm going to give you the last word. Cowbell's the best tradition in college football?
Oh, God.
Well, I think after our discussion here this morning, absolutely, because when you play in Visitors Park, which we can't take them on the road with us anymore, but at least, sometimes we have rowdy visitors at Davis Wade Stadium, so at least when we're walking out, we can kind of keep everybody at bay. But, yes, I think something that, as we talked last night at our little alumni meeting, something we used to be called and maybe still are Cal College. and all the reasons about why we wear the cowbell, because the cow wandered out onto the field and we didn't know where she was, so they put a cowbell on her to find her. And so I think it's a true tradition. So, yes, I agree with it 100%.
Check our website, our Facebook page, Chasing Foul Balls. There's an interview there with Cam Acorn, the former coach up in Southwest. I think you'll like that. We'll come back next Friday morning, Chasing Foul Balls, right here on SuperTalk Pike County.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production. A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.